Our next question comes from Charles Scoggins, who writes, "Hello, AMC Movie Talk crew. You guys are by far the best movie review site on the planet."
Woohoo!
Just the planet, though?
Just the planet,
Oh, come
not the
on.
expanded
Come on, Charles.
universe.
And Crystal Lee is an absolute doll. Recently,
We'll pass that on.
Recently, I was surfing the old interweb and came across a site that stated Nathan Fillion was trying to buy the rights to Firefly/Serenity from Joss Whedon, but he put a stop to that from happening. First off, is this rumor true? And do you think that Joss didn't want to let go of the rights to Firefly/Serenity because he might have made a deal for it, like the one John thinks Ben Affleck made with WB about starring as Batman for a few of Ben's passion projects, with Disney to direct a few Avengers/Marvel movies in exchange for a few passion projects such as Serenity and Firefly? And that was such a long sentence. Also, with Joss Whedon's popularity, more people might be interested this go around. Thanks, guys, and keep doing a great job.
Okay, a couple of things to address here. First of all, Nathan Fillion once kind of off the cuff. This is going back about 2 years ago. I believe it was in 2011. Nathan Fillion made an off-the-cuff remark saying, "Man, if I won the lottery, I'd love to buy the rights to Firefly and Serenity and make sure we keep making them." So then what happened was some absolutely beautifully psychotic fans of Firefly and Serenity, I love this, immediately jumped on that and said, let's start a fundraising campaign to raise $30 million or whatever that we can give to Nathan Fillion so he can buy the rights to Firefly and continue making Firefly shows or movies or whatever. So it was always based on something that Nathan Fillion was never really serious about in the first place. So, okay, now what happens is, fast forward a couple of days, Joss Whedon's sister-in-law hops on Twitter and puts out a tweet that basically says, look, just so you know, nobody associated with Firefly is in support of this campaign.
Yeah.
And then they shut the campaign down. So there was, number one, there was never a serious effort by Nathan Fillion to actually acquire the rights to Firefly. But here's the bigger part of this. Joss Whedon doesn't own the rights to Firefly. The rights to Firefly belong to Fox. And I think there's a lot of film fans quite often that we associate, Steven Spielberg made this movie, therefore it's owned by Steven Spielberg. No, the studio paid for it, and they paid Steven Spielberg to direct it, and it belongs to the studio. There are some exceptions to that, where maybe a filmmaker actually is the intellectual property rights owner to a particular movie. That is, George Lucas is a great example of that. So there's definitely situations like that. Joss Whedon didn't pay for Firefly, and he didn't pay for Serenity. Fox did. Universal, I believe, paid for Serenity. So the rights don't belong to Joss Whedon. It's not like Joss Whedon jumped in and said, no, I don't want Nathan Fillion to own the rights to this. No, it was never his to own. He just said, look, Joss Whedon has always said that he's just never for, fans getting their hands on it. And owning it and then being in control, because that would just tear it apart. Then you got a million different fans with a million different opinions and ideas going in different directions. It would just be terrible. So no. And, maybe Joss Whedon, who does not own the rights to Firefly, but I've said my hope for a long time has been that with his panache getting so big and the amount of leverage he's getting in Hollywood, especially if Avengers 2 is not even a bigger hit, just as big of a hit as the first Avengers, I think a lot of studios will let him do just about whatever he wants to do. Oh, yeah. And like if Avengers 2 makes $2 billion worldwide, I have a hard time imagining Fox saying no. If a Joss Whedon went back to them and said, I want to make another Serenity movie. Yeah. Or to Universal and saying, I want to make another Serenity movie. I have a hard time believing they will say no, but they'll put in there, but Joss, you also have to agree to direct 3 other films for us, and we'll pay for Serenity. It's all going to be whether Joss really wants to move backwards now and do that. Personally, I don't think he does. I think he would love to see more Firefly and Serenity, but I also think he's a creative genius and he has other things he wants to do, move forward with. But it'll be interesting to see what the future holds. How do you see it?
I agree with you completely. I feel like it's probably not a priority to Whedon at this point because he's on fire right now, and that's something he's already done. And he happens to excel at these huge money-making movies that people are wanting to watch right now, and he's just on a roll. Yeah. And I think he's at a point where he can pretty much start to do whatever he wants, and unless he really, really wants to, unless this is a huge passion project for him that he wants to revive and delve into again, I don't think we'll see him go into Serenity Firefly anymore.
Yeah, I think the leverage that he has right now to do whatever he wants, people just think, oh, that means he'll want to do something he's already done before. Yeah. No, I think this will be a situation where he's probably got 20 other things in the back of his mind thinking, okay, no studio will ever let me do this, and no studio will ever let me do this. but I bet they will now. But he's also going to have to sell his soul a little bit and agree to Fox or Universal or Paramount or whoever else that, okay, we'll let you do this little passion project about, a talking cat. Fine, but you have to agree, Joss Whedon, to direct, 3 or 4 or 5 other films for us. Some kind of deal like that for him to get the passion projects he wants made. It'll come.